What's going on, everybody? It's Sparks Comics here. Today I have something pretty special and different for you guys. Part mail call and part comic review. So before I get into that, guys, please subscribe if you haven't already, like the channel, drop a comment, or like the video, drop a comment, whatever. Those YouTube things, go do those things for us. And let's get into this right after the intro. All right, welcome back, guys. Just to give you some background on what I'm about to show you guys today, I received a message on Instagram from someone. I was like, those messages that go into that hidden message area on Instagram, you tend to ignore them or delete them or assume they're spam. But I was looking through them recently, and I saw a message from Jay Kalagayan, who is an author of an indie title. It's not anything that's published, with any of those publishers that the name. This is a self-published kind of book. And he reached out and said, hey, would you be willing to do a review of my series? And if so, here's the link to a free virtual or digital version of the first volume, and send me your address and I will send you some hard copies of volume 1 and volume 2. And I said, you know what? Let me look at the digital version. And then once I started looking, I said, yeah, this seems like a pretty cool thing to look at, and let's do it. So I got in the mail just yesterday the package that had everything in it. And so I wanted to first shout him out because there's a lot of cool things in here besides just the comics. So first of all, there's a bookmark that's got the comic on it. It's called MeSseD. And so we've got the hashtag on here, follow the flush. We've got his information on here. So it's like part business card, part bookmark. So that was kind of cool. And then we got some cool stickers, MeSseD comics. We've got this cool thing. I'll get into this, but there's some echolocation that goes on in an issue. This goes into that as well. We've got this guy being very fierce, rat. And then we've got our main character here, Lilliput. So that was in there. There's some info about them in the media. 2017 Best of Cincinnati, staff pick, best reason to get your mind in the gutter. So lots of cool things on that. Information about, they've mostly been local to their area. One of the books had what shops were selling it, and it was, I believe, pretty much like the Ohio area was the basis of where it was coming from. But the other thing is there's this handwritten letter from Jay saying, Jeremy, you should have both seasons of MeSseD. Thanks so much for featuring our work. We appreciate your support of indie press. Later, no gator, Jay. And that later, no gator is a cool thing that comes up in some of the conversation in the story. When he was messaging me, he would say it and I didn't understand it, and now I understand it. So I think that's pretty cool. And so he sent me volume 1, and it's a trade version of it. And then volume 2, we've got some individual copies. Each one of these is about 10 pages, 12 pages long. And then so we've got volume 2, chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we've got volume 2, chapter, oops, this is out of order. Where chapter, oh wait, that was chapter A, sorry. So we went to chapter 5, not 6, and then we had chapter A and chapter B. And so this is a separate story about Lilliput's rat, Akka. So we'll get into that though. But so let's talk about what this book's about, and then I'll give a review on the book. So on the back of the trade, we'll start with what that description is, and I'll add some things to it. We have the Metropolitan Sewer District, MeSseD, processes over 1 billion gallons of wastewater each day from more than 10,000 miles of pipeline. Nicknamed MeSseD by its workers, the MeSseD also happens to employ our hero, Lilliput. This sewer worker is our tour guide to a weird, wet, and wild world, the thick roots beneath our feet. So, this is chapters 1 through 5 of season 1, plus never before published story, Basque. So, sounds kind of, if you just look at that description, kind of not something I would normally read, right? Someone in the pipes doing stuff, kind of a pass. But after I was looking at the digital version, I saw, this actually seems pretty cool. So why does it seem pretty cool? Well, it's not just a story about unclogging the pipes and dealing with that, and it's a story about the horrors that are in those pipes. And so some of that comes from these filament bacteria that are sentient. Some of it comes from the alacrocs, which sound like a hybrid alligator crocodile, but these alacrocs can stand on their hind legs and they can talk. The weird may come from the person who has what appears to be a black hole on their face. It's disputed whether that's really a black hole, because there's that concern of, if it was a black hole, wouldn't it just be sucking everything in? And so lots of odd things going on in this book. And so I really, that's kind of what got me into it, right? So that's the main idea behind the story. It seems like the workers are in constant battle with these other forces within the pipes. They're trying to keep things flowing smoothly in the pipes. Lilliput, our main character here, she has a pet rat, Akka, who is the rat that we saw here, who seems to kind of look over her, protect her a little bit. So that's another interesting thing. She's kind of got a familiar character, familiar with her. But let me show you some of the art from the inside. There's a couple different artists involved. So, like I said, the writer and creator is Kalagayan. Main artist is Dylan Speeg. But if you look each chapter, there are some other artists in there. Gina Marone, and I thought there was someone else, but Clint Basinger. So we've got a couple people involved with this book, so that's kind of cool. The art does stay relatively similar though, even though we've got a couple different artists. So here's just a random page in here. It's black and white art, but it's exactly as I would think we would need for someone working in the pipes, right? It's gonna be dark even with their headlamps. It's going to not, it's gonna have a lot of shading, right? Probably aren't gonna get a lot of color down there in the pipes. So I think the art fits exactly what we would need from a story like this. So I'm enjoying the art in this. I'm enjoying the darkness, the shades, shadows, all of that. So art on this, I would give it an 8 out of 10. I think it's exactly what it should be for this book. It's nothing over the top. I think though it does exactly what we'd want it to. Some really cool scenes in this from the art. There's some other times that maybe I'd want more details, but I think it does what it should do in these books. And that's not just volume 1, that's volume 2 as well. So one issue I thought that was really cool what they did with the art was this one where they're doing echolocation to see in the tunnels. So I thought that was super cool, the way that they stylized that. I know we've seen some of that idea with, you know, characters like Daredevil, but this was a different way of looking at that, I felt, and I thought that was pretty cool. As far as the story goes, I think between these two volumes, there's points where I got confused because volume 1 happened, Sire, he was the main Alucroc, the oldest one, the one in charge. He passed away in volume 1, but in volume 2, they're talking about him being in poor health. And so I got a little confused if volume 2 happened before volume 1 or what the order was there. And maybe I missed something and that could be my own fault looking at that and reading it. But it seemed like something was missing there continuity-wise. Otherwise, I really enjoyed the story and these little battles between our hero Lilliput and the filament bacteria, which I haven't shown you guys yet. So let me find an issue that's got that in it. Look at this cool cover. Here we go. This should have them. So here's a good panel with a bunch of them right there. Try to hold that as close as possible. So they're kind of these sentient beings that are bacteria, filament bacteria that have kind of taken over, grown, mutated somehow, and become human size. They fight them with all kinds of different things. They have shovels, they have almost like pipe bombs that actually explode, like disinfectant kind of stuff. So different things going on in the tunnels. So I think that was really cool. Story-wise, because of the continuity thing, I'm gonna go with about a 6 out of 10. Dialogue, so at first I wasn't a big fan of the dialogue, so let me read some of it. You know, there's not a lot of dialogue, so I think that's cool, especially because we've got this lone worker in the pipes most of the time. She communicates with a couple of the other workers, but when she's talking to Akka, her rat, or she's talking to other characters, it seems like the dialogue is just maybe it's a different dialect for living in the pipes, and that might be the best explanation for that, right? So we see, I'm trying to find a good spot where they do have dialogue. So there are some homeless people that live in the pipes too, and so she sometimes talks with them. And I think that's where I kind of got like a little bit lost. You know, she comes up to them in one area, and you know, one of them just says, "Lilliput got trade," and then I think she's got beer, and then they say roasted cat. This panel, I don't know. I don't know if this is meant to be funny, but I thought this was very funny. Like, stunner, grats. Like, I don't know. It was. That's probably gonna get clipped by Sith. But I don't know. It was really funny. That panel for me. There's a lot of different things in here that I thought were weird. But here we go. She leaves the homeless people living in the pipes. She says, "Later, no gator, Jude." It comes up a couple more times where she says, "Later, no gator," but you know, overall the dialogue I think is probably for me around a 6 out of 10 also, just because of that. But I don't think that really affects the overall quality of the story, because I think that's intentional with the way that the people are in the pipes. For me, it took a little bit of getting used to. And I think that's what brought it back up. But by the end, I was understanding what they're saying. I may need to give this another read through to fully understand what they're saying. But art-wise, 8 out of 10, like I said. Our characters, I give them a 7 out of 10 too, because, or not 2, because nothing else 7 out of 10 yet, but 7 out of 10 because Lilliput's got some interesting things going on. She's really wanting to be there and fix things in the pipes. We get a couple other characters, Sand Shell, Kidney Shell. We get like a friendly Alacroc. But some of them are brief, and so I want more of some of these characters. I want to know more about Akka. We got two specific books for Akka, but it's just really like one story of Akka making delivering a message. So there's not, we get our main character for the most part. We get a little bit of some of these other characters like Jude, one of the homeless people, Laplace, another one. So I want some more of some of that. I felt like some of that could be fleshed out a little bit more. And I don't know if there's plans for a third volume yet, but if so, I think we'd be able to get that from that volume. So I'm looking forward to that. If that happens, I will definitely be buying volume 3 because I really want to know what's happening in these pipes. Something cool that I saw, so I was looking at these individual ones, was that if you put them all together up on the wall, you start to form a picture. And what that picture ends up being is actually one of the other covers. This one right here. So it all pieces together to make this cover. So that's pretty cool that they did that on the back of issues 1 through 5, and then chapter A, to make that collage of that cover art. The cover art for me, honestly, is a 9 out of 10. I think the cover art's even better than the interior art. So we get some good like portrait kind of things, even like Akka right there. I think that's pretty cool. So for me, definitely the art really got a lot of this for me. Helped me understand the story better. But again, overall, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. Honest review. Like I said, these were gifted to me from Jay. I will definitely be on the lookout if volume 3 happens, and I will pick that up. But 7 out of 10 overall. I think it's got solid groundwork. I think it's something that I will enjoy continuing to read and see what happens in the story. I will drop the link below to the MeSseD Comics website so you can check it out. I believe the volume 1 is available for free for anybody to check out. And then you can purchase copies of volume 2, or maybe the individual chapters of volume 2. I will make sure all of that information is in the description below. But this was definitely something unique. I really appreciate Jay for reaching out to me and seeing if I would do this. For me, I think this is one of those things where since it doesn't have the robust system that some of these publishers have in terms of the editing departments and publishing departments and all of that, that's where these smaller indie books, don't get the recognition that they deserve. So I think this is one of those ones that it's worth going and checking out. Just because, one, I like to support the content that's being brought to us from smaller, independent kind of situations, and we want to see these other stories. I want to see these other stories that we may not get from those bigger companies, even those bigger independent companies, right? they all have set things that they're looking for to publish and put out there. So I appreciate this opportunity to even know about this comic, right? And be able to read it and review it for everyone who watches my videos. I hope you guys check it out. I think it's definitely worth checking out. Look at volume 1 at least. See if you like it. See if you want to continue it. And then, you know, it's there for you to decide. I'm never going to push people to do something one way or another. But I want to give you my honest opinion on it and let you guys know about this unique indie comic. So thank you guys for watching this. As always, please collect what you love, and I'll see you guys next time.